All right, so Toronto. The problem with Toronto is why it's like very extremely presentable, but like extremely like broke or even impoverished, is because in Canada, all right, I always have to like orient you to the Canadian climate, Canadian environment, Canadian setting, Canadian government, and Canadian business, Canadian sort of like half capitalist, half socialist environment, is that a lot of things in Toronto is gifted. Like the museum is gifted, the opera house is gifted. If you can imagine, like in Los Angeles, if the Disney Opera House was gifted by the government, and it wasn't even gifted by Disney, it was gifted by the government, but the rest of the city is dirt poor. And of course, there's enough people, it's like 5 million in the city. There's at least 100,000 millionaires, right? We're not saying all 5 million are poor. I'm just saying there's 5 million, 60%, it's a statistic I quoted before and I got on government website, 60% of 5 million make less than 40,000. That's, if you're married, that's 80,000 together. 30% make between 45, less than 45, or 40 to 80. And then the rest, what's the rest? 10% are millionaires. So in 5 million, there's at least 10,000, 100,000 millionaires. But imagine if Los Angeles, like the government, the US government gifted you guys the Disney Opera House, and there was only 100,000 millionaires, everybody else making below, like, it'd be a nightmare. That's a little bit of so like half socialist, half capitalist situation with Toronto. A lot of things are gifted. Funded by the government, backed by the government. I think somebody said in an article about film financing. In America, film financing studios, right? Studios, or you believe in your script enough, you go out on the wire and actually borrow money. In Canada, they say, well, even though private gifts from foundations to propagate the state propaganda machine is dwindling, it doesn't really impact us because most of our financing comes from the government. So it really is a state propaganda machine, filmmaking. Like they're losing private donations from like wealthy families to help them create movies. And they say, well, it's not that bad of a situation because most of our financing comes from the government. So it's a state propaganda machine. The movie business up here, it's not Hollywood. Now you imagine, and everything's, a lot of these big things are gifted, so they're great for like the few rich, everybody else just struggling. Can you imagine, like the Disney Opera House in LA was gifted by like the US government and everybody else just dirt poor? So you take tons of photos of your city perhaps as gorgeous because it's all gifted by the US government. Everybody else just damn poor. A lot of things in Toronto gifted that way. Even when they lose private donations, they say it's no big deal. The government just funds most of it. So it's a weird fucking situation. I kind of hate this city a little bit.